Hello students, today in our 9th standard physics class we are going to see the session number 3. The lesson which we are going to see today is measurement and measuring instruments. Students, measuring means to use number to describe a property of something such as the amount or the size. Do you know children, science relies on measuring to describe the world around us and to conduct investigations, but scientists aren't the only ones. We all use measurement every day in our ordinary life. So it's a great topic to explore, and today we are going to explore unit prefixes, rules and conventions for writing, SI units and their symbols, vernier caliper and screw gauge. First of all, let's see the term unit prefixes. Unit prefixes are the symbols placed before the symbol of a unit to specify the order of magnitude of a quantity. And the unit prefixes are very useful to express very large or very small quantities. K for kilo is a unit prefix in the unit of kilogram. A unit prefixes stands for a specific positive or negative power of 10. K stands for 1000 or 10 to the power 3. Let me show some unit prefixes. See here, each and every one have the power of 10. That means 10 to the power 15, 12, 9, 6, 30, 3, 2, 1, -1, -2 and -3. That means in decreasing values. Let's start with the peta. Here the 10 to the power 15 is mentioned by peta and it has a symbol capital P. 10 to the power 12 is tera and it has the symbol T. 10 to the power 9 has the symbol G and its prefix is giga. 10 to the power 6 has a prefix mega and the symbol is M. 10 to the power 3 has the prefix as kilo and the symbol is K. Dear students, 10 to the power 12 have the prefix as hecto and the symbol is H. Then 10 to the power 1, it is deca and it has a symbol dA. Do you know children, when you are in a decreasing value, that means 10 to the power -1, it is deci and it has the symbol small d, and 10 to the power -2 as a prefix of centi and the symbol is small c, and 10 to the power -3 as a prefix of milli and it as a symbol of small m. We also have some other to know about this prefix and symbol which are in minus values. 10 to the power -6 is micro and the symbol is mu. The 10 to the power -9 is nano. You all know about the nano car and nanotechnology. The symbol is small n. 10 to the power -12 is pico and the symbol is p, small p. 10 to the power -15 is femto. The symbol is small f. Students, you have to remember all this prefix and the symbols very well because it will be useful for you throughout your higher educations. Now let's see the rules and conventions for writing SI units and their symbols. Students, first of all, I will explain you why these rules and conventions are made for SI unit and their symbols. See, the organization of SI units which is formed in the year 1960 want the SI units to be considered as the main measurement unit throughout the world. That's why they proclaim some rules and conventions for these units and symbols. Now let's see what is the first rule. The units named after scientists are not written with a capital letter. Example: Newton, Henry, Ampere and Watt. Second one, the symbols of the unit named after scientists should be written by the initial capital letter. Example: N for Newton, H for Henry and A for Ampere and W for Watt. Third one, small letters are used as symbols for units and not derived from a proper noun. Example: M for meter, kg for kilogram. Fourth one, no full stop or punctuation marks should be used within or at the end of the symbols. Example, I give the 50 meter and it should be not written as 50 m dot. Fifth one, the symbols of the units are not expressed in plural form. Example, 10 kg and not as 10 kgs, 5 meter and not mt, not as 5 mts, like that. Okay. Let's see the sixth unit. When temperature is expressed in Kelvin, the degree is omitted. That means usually we put like this, 10 to the power C for Celsius, is it? But we should not use that degree here. Example, 283 Kelvin and not as 283 degree Kelvin. If expressed in Celsius scale, degree sign should be included, 10 to the power degree Celsius and not as 10 or 100 Celsius. 108 degree Fahrenheit and not as 108 degree 8F. Seventh one, use of solid S is recommended for indicating a division of one unit symbol by another unit symbol. Not more than one solid S is used. That means ms minus 1 or m per second, that means meter per second, joule per Kelvin per mole, and it should not be written as joule per mole per Kelvin per meter, like that. It should be only below 3 symbols. Here you can see JK minus 1, mole minus 1. It should be continued after the third one. The number and unit should be separated by a space. Example, 15 kilogram meter per second or kg ms minus 1 and not as 15 kg ms minus 1. That means the space between them. Here you can see you don't have a space between the 15 and kg ms minus 1. Ninth one, accepted symbols alone should be used. Example, ampere should not be written as amp and the second should not be written as SEC. That means it should have, the ampere should have the symbol as A and the second should have the symbol S only. The last one, the numerical values of physical quantities should be written in scientific form. We already saw the prefixes and we have to use the prefixes here. Example, the density of mercury should be written as 1.36 into 10 to the power 4 kg m minus 3 and not as 13,600 kilogram meter per, that means mg minus 3. Students, now let's see what do you mean by this vernier caliper and screw gauge, why we use this vernier caliper and screw gauge in the measurements. In our daily life we use meter scale for measuring lengths. They are calibrated in centimeter and millimeter scales. The smallest length which can be measured by meter scale is called the least count. Usually the least count of a scale is 1 millimeter. We can measure the length of objects up to millimeter accuracy using this scale. But this scale is not sufficient for measuring the size of small spherical objects such as a ball or small thread. So vernier caliper and screw gauges are used. Let's see what are the things that you could buy in smaller measures. You can buy lot of thread or wire or small copper material. All this you have to use some instruments which it can be used to measure the very small length. So this vernier caliper and the screw gauge has a wide application in this measurements. Students, now let's see what do you mean by this vernier caliper and screw gauge, why we use this vernier caliper and screw gauge in the measurements. In our daily life we use meter scale for measuring lengths. They are calibrated in centimeter and millimeter scales. The smallest length which can be measured by meter scale is called the least count. Usually the least count of a scale is 1 millimeter. We can measure the length of objects up to millimeter accuracy using this scale. But this scale is not sufficient for measuring the size of small spherical objects such as a ball or small thread. So vernier caliper and screw gauges are used. Let's see what are the things that you could buy in smaller measures. You can buy lot of thread or wire or small copper material. All this you have to use some instruments which it can be used to measure the very small length. So this vernier caliper and the screw gauge has a wide application in this measurements. Now let's see what is this vernier caliper. Pierre Vernier in 1580 to 1637 was a French government official who invented this vernier caliper. The diameter of a spherical object such as the cricket ball, hollow objects such as a pen cap cannot be measured with a meter scale. For that we use an instrument named vernier caliper which can measure the inner and outer diameter of the objects. Now let's see what are the things which we can measure and how we can measure the cricket ball or the pen cap or such type of objects. The vernier caliper consists of thin long steel bar. Okay, this is a thin long steel bar which is graduated in centimeter and millimeter. You can see here it is in centimeter and millimeter. This is the main scale. This is the main scale. To the left end of the steel bar, an upper and lower jaw are fixed perpendicularly. This is upper and lower jaw are fixed perpendicular to the bar, and these are named as fixed jaws. Okay, fixed jaws. To the right of the fixed jaws, this is a slider which an upper and lower movable. You can move this upper and lower. Movable jaw is fixed. The slider can be moved or fixed to any position using this locking screw. The vernier scale is marked on the slider, okay, and moves along with the movable jaws and the slider. This is the movable jaw and the slider. Here you can use this to move from left to right or right to left. The lower jaws are used to measure the external dimensions, and the upper jaws are used to measure the internal dimensions of the objects. The thin bar, okay, this attached to the right side of the vernier scale is used to measure the depth of hollow objects, and this is the depth measuring blade. You can see this is the depth measuring blade, and this is the metric scale, and this is the imperial scale. Now let's see the usage of this vernier caliper. The first step is in using the vernier caliper is to find out its least count, range and zero error. So what do you mean by this least count? In the main scale, divisions can easily be obtained by inserting the main scale, this main scale, okay. It will be in centimeter, further divided into millimeter. The value of the smallest main scale division is 1 millimeter. The vernier scale division is obtained by counting number of divisions in it. There are a lot of divisions in it. In the vernier scale there will be of 10 divisions. So the least count of the instrument is LC. The least count is denoted as LC. The least count is measured by value of one smallest main scale division divided by total number of vernier scale divisions. Okay, this is a value of one smallest main scale division by total number of this vernier scale divisions. Total number of vernier scale divisions. So finally we get the LC values, that means the least count value, as LC is equal to 1 millimeter divided by 10, because we have the total 10 number of vernier scale divisions here. So LC is equal to 0.1 millimeter, which is equal to 0.01 centimeter. And the digital vernier caliper, today we are living in a digital world, and the digital version of the vernier caliper is available now. That's what we see in this page. This is a digital vernier caliper. No need to check with any vernier glass or anything. You can view this measurement very easily because this is a digital measurement. The digital vernier caliper has a digital display on the slider which calculates and displays the measurement value. The user need not manually calculate the least count, zero error, etc. Okay, it has been measured and the value is a final value. Let's see what is the zero error in this vernier caliper. Unscrew the slider and move it to the left. Okay, unscrew the slider. You have to unscrew this and you can move it to the left such that both the jaws touch each other. This jaws will touch each other. Check whether the zero marking of the main scale, here you can see the zero marking of the main scale, coincides with that of the vernier scale. The main scale and the zero marking of the main scale and the vernier scale has to be coincide with each other. If they are not coinciding with each other, then the instrument is said to be possess a zero error. Zero error may be positive or negative. If the zero mark of the vernier is shifted to the right, then it is called positive error. On the other hand, if the zero, that means the vernier zero, is shifted to the left of the main scale zero marking, then the error is called as negative error. And let's see what you mean by this zero correction. If there is a error, we have to correct it, is it? So let's see what you mean by this zero correction and how can you correct this vernier error. Zero correction. If zero, that means if the error is positive, then we should subtract the error value. If the error is negative, then we should add that error value. This is the zero correction method. Students, now let's see the screw gauge. Measurements made with the vernier caliper can be made in centimeter only. Screw gauge is used to measure the length and thickness of a very small objects. This instrument can measure the dimensions up to 1/100th of a millimeter or 0.01 millimeter. With the screw gauge, it is possible to measure the diameter of a thin wire and the thickness of thin metallic plates. You can see a screw gauge here. Let me describe the screw gauge now. The screw gauge consists of a U-shaped metal frame. This is that U-shaped metal frame. A hollow cylinder is attached to the one end of the frame. This is the one end of the frame which is attached with the hollow cylinder. Grooves are cut on the inner surfaces of the cylinder through which a screw passes on the cylinder which is parallel to the axis of the screw, right? This you can see the ratchet here. Okay, there is a scale which is graduated in millimeter called pitch scale. This is the pitch scale which is graduated in this screw gauge. In short form, the pitch scale is PS. One end of the screw is attached to the sleeve, right? Now the end of the sleeve, end of the sleeve, that means the thimble. This is the thimble. it is divided into 100 divisions. This thimble is divided into 100 divisions. I think you all are watching the movement of this screw cage well. Let's move to the next. This 100 divisions thimble is called head scale. Already you know about the pitch scale, and now this is the head scale. The end of the screw has a plane surface. It is called spindle. This is the spindle. A stud, okay, it is anvil face. The stud, it is called as anvil face, is attached to the other end of the frame. It is just opposite to the tip of the screw, and the screw head is provided with the ratchet arrangement. This is the ratchet arrangement. This is used for a safety purpose, and the ratchet is used as a safety device to prevent the user from exerting the undue pressure. It supports the user from the undue pressure. This is the working of the screw cage. Can you imagine this? Yeah. Using this, we can find the thickness of a thin metallic plate or thin wire and so on. Now let's see what are the usage of this screw cage. The screw cage works on the principle that when the screw cage is rotated in a nut, the distance moved by the tip of the screw is directly proportional to the number of rotations. Already I told you about the HS, that means the head scale rotations. Then the pitch of the screw. Here you can see again the head scale rotation and the pitch scale rotation. Now let's see the pitch of the screw. The pitch of the screw is the distance between two successive screw heads. This is the two successive screw heads. Then it is also equal to the distance travelled by the tip of the screw for one complete rotation of the head, and it is equal to 1 millimeter in typical screw gauges. Dear students, as we have a zero error and the zero corrections in the vernier caliper, we also have this zero error in the screw gauge also. The zero error of a screw gauge is when a plane surface of a screw and the opposite plane stud on the frame area brought into contact. If the zero of the head scale coincides with the pitch scale axis, there is no error. That means if you coincide the zero with of the head scale and the pitch scale, then the zero error is zero, and you don't have to have a negative zero error or a positive zero error. So you have to match the line from the pitch scale and the zero in the head scale. The least count of a screw gauge. The least count of a screw gauge, the distance moved by the tip of the screw for a rotation of one division on the head scale is called the least count of the screw gauge. So least count of the instrument LC is equal to value of one smallest pitch scale reading divided by total number of head scale divisions. That means PS divided by the HS. Therefore, the LC, that means the least count of a screw gauge, is equal to 1 by 100 or 0.01 millimeter. Thank you, students.